Virgil van Dijk might be right about Jarell Quansah, but Liverpool had to make a ruthless call. The red tide is shifting at Anfield. Liverpool Football Club, one of the world's most storied institutions, is entering a bold, unflinching new era, one in which sentiment and legacy are being weighed heavily against ambition and strategy. Few moves this summer epitomize this seismic change more than the confirmed departure of Jarell Quansah to Bundesliga champions Bayer Leverkusen just a year ago. Quansah looked set to inherit the mantle of Liverpool's defensive titan, the long-term successor to Virgil van Dijk. After a breakout campaign in 2023-24, the 21-year-old center-back was being hailed as the club's next great homegrown pillar at the back. His maturity, physical presence, and reading of the game had drawn comparisons to Van Dijk himself, and the praise wasn't just coming from fans or pundits. The Dutch captain was among his most vocal admirers, famously remarking, "He just has to keep going. I was never doing it consistently at that age, like Jarell." But football is a cruel and fast-moving game, and in the corridors of Anfield, change is no longer whispered. It's shouted. With Arne Slot and Richard Hughes now firmly in charge of the club's footballing direction. The Liverpool of tomorrow is taking shape rapidly, and it's leaving even promising young stars like Quansah in its wake. This isn't just a transfer, it's a message, a warning shot, a signal that under Slot's reign, potential alone won't be enough. Results, balance, and cold hard footballing logic will prevail. In this special long-form feature, we unpack every angle of Jarell Quansah's sale, from its emotional toll to its strategic rationale. The rise of Jarell Quansah in the summer of 2023. Few Liverpool fans would have predicted just how important Jarell Quansah would become. After returning from a loan spell at Bristol Rovers in League One, the expectation was that he might hover around the periphery of the first-team squad. Instead, he stormed into the starting 11. Injuries to Joel Matip and Ibrahima Konate opened the door, and Quansah burst through it. Within weeks, he had earned the trust of Jurgen Klopp, who saw in him a blend of composure and confidence rarely seen in defenders his age. Quansah read the game like a seasoned pro. His ability to play out from the back made him a natural fit in Liverpool's evolving tactical framework. More than that, though, he didn't look fazed. Whether it was an away day at St. James Park or a heated clash with Manchester United at Anfield, Quansah played with the same calm demeanor. It was as if he belonged, and the stats backed it up by January 2024. Whispers of Quansah as Van Dijk's long-term successor were becoming louder. Van Dijk's comments only cemented that belief. He's doing it consistently. He's humble, he listens, and he learns fast. I wasn't playing like this at his age. That kind of praise doesn't come lightly, especially not from Van Dijk. The turning point, but as quickly as Quansah rose, questions began to emerge. By the end of the season, it was clear that the center-back's development had plateaued slightly. Was it fatigue, pressure, or simply the adjustment period that all young players endure? He remained in the rotation, but Liverpool's defensive frailties, particularly in the high line, often exposed him. Teams had begun targeting the space behind Quansah. And while he had good recovery pace, his positioning occasionally let him down. Arne Slot, who had already been preparing for his arrival, watched closely. Alongside incoming sporting director Richard Hughes, Slot was tasked with assessing every squad member's long-term value to his system. When the evaluation was done, Quansah's name, surprisingly, was not in the untouchable column. Slot and Hughes, the new regime, the new Liverpool leadership, wasted no time. From the moment Slot was officially appointed, the Dutch coach made clear that his team would be high-intensity, possession-focused, and tactically fluid in that system. Defenders need to be exceptional on the ball, tactically aware, and physically dominant, while Quansah ticked many boxes. He wasn't a perfect fit yet, and Liverpool didn't have time to wait. The club had just invested heavily in Jeremy Frimpong, Milos Kerkez, and Florian Wirtz, players who demand high-line support from their defenders. There was simply no room for developmental errors in the back. That's when Bayer Leverkusen came calling. The Leverkusen offer and the financial equations Xabi Alonso's Leverkusen saw a golden opportunity. They had just clinched the Bundesliga title and were in the market for a young defender to grow into their system. Quansah was available and for the right price. Liverpool had to make a choice: keep a promising but unproven talent, or cash. And while his stock was high and reinvest in Slot's ideal profile, the offer reportedly came in around £35 million, more than 10 times what Quansah would have fetched a year earlier. For a player who had made less than 30 first-team starts, it was a staggering valuation. Liverpool accepted fan reaction and emotional fallout. Decision sparked immediate debate among the Liverpool faithful. Some were furious. How could Liverpool sell a homegrown talent with such high potential? Had they not learned from past mistakes of letting young defenders leave too early? Others understood. Sentimentality has cost Liverpool in the past. The club now needed to be smarter, colder, more forward-thinking if they were to challenge Manchester City and Real Madrid. Still, it hurt Quansah wasn't just a promising footballer. He was one of our own. Van Dijk's role and the mentorship that never was. Perhaps no one felt the loss more keenly than Van Dijk himself. Van Dijk had taken Quansah under his wing. During training sessions, matches, and press conferences, he regularly praised the youngster's attitude and talent. The plan unofficially was for Quansah to learn from Van Dijk and eventually take over as the leader of the backline. Now, that plan is no more. There's a certain sadness to that. In another timeline, Van Dijk could have passed the torch to Quansah in a few years. Instead, he will now watch from afar as his once protege develops in Germany. Liverpool's defensive blueprint moving forward. So where does this leave Liverpool's defense? With Quansah gone and Matip also departed, Liverpool will likely pursue at least one more center-back this summer. Names like Lenny Yoro, Goncalo Inacio, and Piero Hincapié have been floated. All are more complete fits for Slot's aggressive system. Joe Gomez remains versatile and valuable. Connaught, despite inconsistency, has the raw tools. Van Dijk is still the leader. But a new signing is inevitable, and Quansah's sale may just be the financial lever that makes it possible. The bigger picture, ruthlessness redefined. What we're witnessing isn't just a squad reshuffle, it's a philosophical shift. Under Klopp, Liverpool leaned heavily on loyalty, unity, and emotional bonds. Those principles delivered incredible highs, including a Champions League and Premier League title. But they also occasionally held the club back. Slot and Hughes are ushering in a more calculated, performance-driven age. And in that world, even the brightest academy graduate can be sold if it helps the club evolve. Quansah's exit is a reminder: no one is safe. Maybe that's what Liverpool needs to rise again. A new beginning for Quansah, and Liverpool as for Jurgen Quansah. A fresh start in Leverkusen could be a blessing in disguise. Under Alonso's guidance, he will be nurtured, developed, and challenged. He might return to England one day as a world-class defender, and if he does, Liverpool fans will watch with mixed emotions. Pride, maybe a hint of regret, but also hope that the club made the right call, because in the end, football's about timing, decisions, and brave choices. This was one of them. And whether Slot and Hughes are proven right or wrong, one thing is certain: mentally, he's in the right frame of mind, and that's a good start. I'll be there for him whenever he needs. He'll be just fine. Just a few months later, having helped keep Erling Haaland on a leash, there was even more praise from Van Dijk for a player who seemed to be making a play to become his successor. The sky is the limit, Van Dijk said. He just has to stay humble and keep working hard, keep improving, because there will be a lot of bumps along the road as well. Just over 12 months later, though, Liverpool fans will have to watch on from afar to see whether Quansah can meet Van Dijk's expectations. As cutthroat as it may seem, it was actually something of a no-brainer for the Reds. A guaranteed $41 million, potentially rising to $48 million. It's a huge amount for a defender with only 30 Premier League appearances to his name. And in this age of profit and sustainability rules, being able to bank that as pure profit is simply too good to turn down. With the added safety net of a buyback clause, meaning Liverpool will get first refusal should Kwanzaa go on to reach those levels that were predicted. The club is safeguarding itself to ensure that it isn't taking too big a gamble on the 22-year-olds. Future time is well and truly on Kwanzaa's side, but he needs game time now. The truth is, he wasn't going to get at that at Anfield while Konate remains fit and under contract, an issue that still needs to be resolved, by the way. He will get his opportunity at Leverkusen, and if he does grow up to become Van Dijk 2.0, then the Reds will be there. Hopefully the Liverpool captain can still be proved right.